Hello, welcome to Escrow Escapes. This is the real estate stories, market trends, and true tales from the front lines of closings. I am Matthew Halliday, Navy veteran and father of three girls, also a full time real estate agent. Let's get into it.
Keys already printed. The buyer's closing folder sits on the lender's desk, and then the call comes. We're not funding. Something in the HOA packet changed the risk. That's when a routine closing goes sideways. Welcome to Escrow Escapes. I'm your host, Matthew Halliday, and today we're diving into a real story from the front lines of real estate. The practical lessons every buyer, seller, and agent needs to hear. Let's break it down. Quick promise: 3 moves that prevent HOA paperwork from derailing a closing, and 1 immediate tip you can use on your next offer. No fluff, just things you can do this week. First, documents. Ask for the full HOA resale packet as soon as you can. Resale certificate, bylaws and CC&Rs, pending assessments, master insurance, and 6 months of minutes. Get 'em. I once watched a packet arrive missing a board vote on a special assessment. The lender said, "Stop," and the closing froze. Yikes. Now, red flags. Listen for tiny reserves paired with a suddenly generous repair plan. Litigation mentions in minutes. Insurance gaps that lenders care about. Rental restrictions that affect financing. Inconsistent budget numbers. Those are the things that make a lender pause. One word check. Litigation. If you see it, slow down. Reserves low. Ask for a reserve schedule. A real quick story. Last fall, a buyer waived early review to be competitive. 2 days before funding, the resale packet showed a $12,000 special assessment approved 2 weeks earlier. The lender pulled the file, underwriting reran numbers, and the buyer had to scramble for a cash bridge. 2 lessons there. Never assume and never waive without a safeguard. So what do you actually write into the contract to protect people? Short answer: a tight document review contingency that names the HOA packet and sets a firm timeline. Here's an easy, adaptable clause. Buyer's approval of association documents is a contingency. Buyer has 5 business days from receipt to object to material items including assessments, insurance shortfalls, or restrictions materially affecting financing or habitability. If objection is not resolved within 5 business days, buyer may terminate and receive full deposit refund. Short, clear, enforceable. That's the language underwriters like. It creates a defined path instead of, "We'll figure it out later." Sellers, you can prevent this by ordering the resale packet right after acceptance. Yes, there's a small fee, but it removes a huge point of friction. If a seller provides a complete packet with the initial response, the buyer's lender can start underwriting earlier and with confidence. Here's the bottom line. Small upfront cost, big reduction in closing risk. Exactly. But even with documents and a solid clause, deals still stall. That's when operations matter. Who calls who and how fast? Picture the chain reaction. Buyer's agent calls seller's agent. Seller's agent calls HOA manager. HOA manager goes quiet for days. Lender flags missing items. Title holds funding. Nobody had a daily follow-up plan. That's the whole fix. A simple checklist and named contacts. Title or escrow owns the packet checklist. Confirm receipt, verify completeness, flag discrepancies to lender, and name the HOA contact for escalation. Buyers and sellers, agents agree to a 24-hour call window for urgent items. Copy the lender on critical emails so there's transparency. Naming responsibilities removes guesswork. How to escalate when an HOA manager is slow. First, move up to the management company supervisor. If that fails, escalate to the board president. Use certified email when timelines are at risk. A paper trail matters to lenders. If funding is on hold, Tell the lender exactly what's missing and the path to resolution. Lenders want evidence you're actively addressing the deficiency, not excuses. Lawyers? Last resort. Attorney escalation is expensive and slow. Operational tricks that save time. Request an expedited resale certificate for a fee. Ask the HOA to email copies directly to lender and title, and have escrow prepare a conditional funding notice that releases funds once a single confirmation arrives. These are pragmatic workarounds. Let's be candid. Associations aren't lenders. They're volunteer boards and busy managers. Translate lender urgency into HOA-friendly requests. Concise, polite, and deadline-driven. People respond to specificity more than panic. Recap. 3 moves to reduce closing risk. 1. Get the HOA packet early and watch for red flags like low reserves, litigation, and undisclosed assessments. 2. Use tight, explicit document review contingencies with remedy timelines. 3. Own the operational plan, name contacts, set daily follow-ups, and escalate methodically. Who owns what? Buyers, agents request the packet and protect the buyer with a contingency. Sellers/listing agents order the packet after acceptance. Title and escrow, maintain the checklist and keep the lender informed. Think of it as a relay race. Every handoff matters. 1 immediate tip to use on your next offer. Request the HOA/condo resale packet pre-offer or add a 5 business day conditional deadline for delivery in your purchase agreement. 5 days max. That single habit prevents a lot of last-minute surprises. Try it on your next deal. If this episode helped, do me a favor, subscribe to Escrow Escapes so you don't miss future episodes where we break down real-world closing snafus and exact tactics to avoid them. Share this with an agent or a friend about to buy a condo. They'll thank you when the closing happens on time. That's a wrap on this episode of Escrow Escapes. Thanks for listening. And remember, every deal has its bumps. It's how you navigate them that counts. Catch you next time.
Thanks for listening to Escrow Escapes. For more real estate tips, market updates, and behind-the-scenes stories, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. I am Matthew Halliday. We'll see you on the next closing. Thanks. Have a great day.